question is, why isn't there AI in Avatar? And that basically means that in the future of Avatar, which the original movie takes place in 2154, and that given that we're currently in 2023 and we're seeing things like generative AI, ChatGPT, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and all the others that a lot of other companies are developing, where is AI in the future of Pandora? We see Earth very briefly in the extended edition of Avatar, and there's no AI that we see. We see the RDA, and they don't seem to be using AI for anything, which makes me think that there is no AI in the future that we see in Avatar. And that my kind of opinion is that James Cameron has decided that probably there's been some kind of like policy in place that just says, look, we don't make AI. Maybe he's going to like fill it in. I actually don't think it'll ever be answered in the movies, because I just don't think it's necessarily something he wants to explore. That he already had Terminator to just explore questions of AI. So yeah, I guess that's my view, is that it's super interesting that AI doesn't exist in 2154 in the Avatar universe. But I think that the reason is that probably on Earth they enacted some policy to stop AI getting out of control, or to stop it replacing humans, or something like that.
Where do you draw the line between the autonomous robotics and AI, though?
That's a very good point, because they do have the drones building the cities, right?
And I figure that those drone swarms are going to play into the future movies. They're going to use them as weapons.
But I think that they're maybe just used. They're more like algorithmic, and they have preset instructions rather than actually being able to like think for themselves.
So there's no artificial general intelligence. It's like dumb AI. It's just following commands,
right,
rather than thinking.
Yeah, it's like the difference between the machine that beat Kasparov at chess and the machine that beat the Go champion, whose name I don't remember. One of them is like an algorithmic machine, and the other one is a neural network.
Yeah, it's a machine learning neural. I love that in Terminator he calls it a neural net. It's like, what is it? Is it an exponentially learning neural network? Is how he describes Skynet?
Which is what a neural network does.
Right, but I mean, it feels like Jim was.
Yeah, he was right on the money.
Yeah, he's like, even the description, when you see, usually in films they describe something, but they don't get it exactly right like that.
I think I'm going to make a meme of the scene in Terminator where Sarah says, "I'm not stupid, they can't make things like that." And Reese says, "Not yet, not for about 40 years." Guess what? 2024 is exactly 40 years after 1984.
Oh my god!
I imagine Jim down in New Zealand. He's in the shower and he's thinking like, "Uh-oh, what did I do?"
Oh my god! You could make a ChatGPT Midjourney meme where Kyle Reese is like, it will not stop.
I personally think Jim Cameron does not. He actually thinks what's going to happen is Terminator. I don't think there's a possibility you get to 2154 without AI being more than it is in Avatar. And he's purposely like downplayed AI so that he can make a story he wants to make, rather than do it as
for the same reason they don't have like laser guns or plasma weapons. They have guns that relate to us, and that's the same reason they have machines that relate to us.
Yeah, but in Aliens they didn't have any plasma weapons and they had androids.
Do you think we'll have plasma weapons by 2154?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that the same reason they
I mean, look, in Terminator we had them about in the 2030s. In Aliens and Avatar, it's 150 years later, and they still don't have them. So it's two different worlds. I think that there's some kind of robotics. He's not being naive about that, about the advancement of technology. There's probably some kind of robotics that we haven't seen yet that act more autonomously or independently.
Sorry, go on, Ashton.
There's a 5-year-old interview with James Cameron, I think with The Wired, but they're asking him about movie stuff, and one of the questions is about AI and where does he think it's going to be, and he said that he thinks something about sort of. He said the words, "I think we're doomed," personally, and it was mentioning things like 10 to 30 years from the point of the interview was when we're going to get AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Yeah,
So
you know,
that
he
was-
didn't
that was
he didn't
5
move to
years
the
ago.
middle of nowhere in New Zealand because he liked the scenery. He knows that everything's going to
Yeah.
collapse.
Oh god.
Unfortunately,
not
we
to-
don't all have
not
the
to get
kind of
all-
money to move out there.
Yeah, not to get all doomer on
All
this,
existential.
but- so I
You
think
want to talk about AI?
yeah, no. So one of the ones that I thought was that because I think Dune has been a real big influence on Jim and the Avatar universe, that in Dune the reason they don't have thinking machines is that there's like a war. So they're like World War III almost in
Yeah.
Dune is between thinking machines and humanity. So it'd be cool if there was some kind of offhand line where like Quaritch oh god, I mean that would be crazy. That the idea like there's some reveal something that they actually won the war against Skynet, and this is a post Skynet world.
That's interesting.
Could you imagine?
It
That
all
would be
exists in the
insane.
Terminator universe.
Yeah, it's all been part of the
Obviously,
Terminator universe all gone. And at the end of Avatar 3, like we need to reactivate Skynet. It's the only thing it's the only thing that can beat Ewa.
I see a good
Okay,
fan fiction
and
here.
Skynet and Awa get married.
That's Avatar 5, man.
They both
that's how
want
it
to
ends
destroy humanity.
Peace.
Mhm.
Skynet. You heard it here first, everyone. Skynet and Ewa get married.
They can
Jim's been planning this.
they can agree on that. They
That's
want to
who's
kill
Kiri's
humanity.
father. Kiri's father is
Yeah.
Skynet.
Oh my god.
Traveling
Right.
in time.
We've cracked it. Kiri's dad is. Oh my god! Literally, that's an idea. They're like, you know, the scene where she's like, where Grace starts glitching out and going, oh yeah, she's like, who's my
Yeah.
dad?
Yeah.
Literally, it just goes.
Shoots by.
and the Terminator skull comes out of the flames, and then Kiri's like, that's why she can't handle it. Of course.
If
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God.
happen, somebody's got to make an alternate version of that.
Jim's been, and then somehow aliens and Titanic also need to fit in there.